G'day and welcome back to another episode here at the Hidden Why podcast. I hope you're very well. Thank you so much for joining me. This is episode 1142, and today I have the absolute pleasure of bringing you an inspiring conversation by one Ken Miller. He is the author of Becoming Ken, One Black Man's Journey from Ivy League to Prison and Back Again. This is an inspiring story. It's a story of resilience, authenticity, redemption, and Ken goes deep. He shares some incredible stories in here about drug addiction, alcoholism, homelessness, prison life, and how he overcome all that. At the age of 40, he decided to make some changes, and now he lives a life of contribution. So some incredible insights in this conversation, guys. I really hope you enjoy it. And please do make the connection with Ken. He's an amazing guy and doing amazing things and has a very inspirational message. So you're going to love this one. Enjoy and make sure you connect at thehiddenwhy.com. Cheers. G'day, Ken, and welcome to the Hidden Why podcast. Great to have you here with me.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you, Lee.
I'd love this to be a live studio one, but it's not. Mate, it's an incredible story that you've got to share, and I just can't wait to get into it with you today. You've released a book now, Becoming Ken, One Black Man's Journey from Ivy League to Prison and Back Again. A story of resilience, recovery, transformation, all of that stuff that encapsulates really what we're about here at the Hidden Why, helping people really discover their true selves and really live a fulfilled life, a meaningful life. So can't wait to delve in a bit further with you, Ken, but tell us, man, whereabouts are you?
I am in Bellingham, Washington, which is in the northwest corner of the United States, north of Seattle, Washington.
Okay, nice. Good spot.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah?
Beautiful. Yes.
Yeah, cool. So where do we start with your journey?
Let's start at birth. That's always a good one.
Start at birth.
Yeah. So I was born in 1962. I'm 63 years old now. This is 2025. My mother was a white teenage girl that was a runaway. And my father was a pimp and drug dealer, African American. And so what I'm called is a biracial child. In 1962, that was not common at all.
Right.
And so I was put up for adoption at birth. And I wasn't adopted, but I did do foster homes for 6 years. So you go between different homes. Then I was adopted at age 6 by Irene and Sam Miller. When I was adopted, I couldn't read, I couldn't write, couldn't tell time, and couldn't even tie my shoes because the foster parents or foster individuals were not teaching us that, nor did I think they cared too much because their value is, the next foster child.
Right.
And the money that the state would give them to take care of these children.
Yeah.
That are foster children. So anyway, my mom taught me how to read that first year, fell in love with reading. And by the time I had graduated from high school, I was a National Merit Scholar. I was accepted to Harvard. I went to Dartmouth, which is called an Ivy League school in the United States. And it's one of the top 10 colleges in the United States. And that's because of my academics. But when I went off to college, what I say to people, I was broken due to the adoption, due to the foster homes, due to the violence that my father perpetrated upon me. And
Is
so
this your biological father?
No, this is the adoptive father.
Okay.
I never met my biological father. He passed away before.
So through many different homes up until the age of 6, and then with I forgot his name, but Irene and what was?
Yeah, Irene and Sam
Miller. Okay. And so you lived with them. You went through school with them into college. Okay.
And then I would go off to college, and I get introduced to drinking because that's what we do in college.
Yeah, right.
Fraternities. And so I graduated 4 years later. I always tell people I graduated with a degree in fraternity and a minor in drinking. It wasn't academics, that's for sure. And went into the corporate world, got sober for the first time, went into the corporate world for a couple of years, did very, very successful in the corporate world at that
When you
age.
say, sorry, when you say got sober, did you have
Mhm.
a fairly significant drinking problem then, or was it just, you
Yeah,
were drinking?
I was a full-blown alcoholic.
Right.
Full blown.
Okay.
And what does that
Yeah.
mean? It means I drank every day.
Mm.
I drank
Yeah,
to,
define alcoholism, right? It varies depending on who you ask. Like whether that's having a couple of drinks every
yes,
night or
yes,
waking up in the morning having
yes.
a drink.
But I have a definition that I have defined for me.
Yeah,
And
it's
there's
probably
many people who
important.
can relate to my definition of
What's your
alcoholism.
definition?
My definition is real simple. I have the inability to control the amount that I drink once I begin drinking.
Right.
Under the influence of alcohol, I drink a lot. And under the influence of alcohol, I make a lot of bad decisions for me, my loved ones, and society.
Hmm.
I do not have the ability to control the amount. That's the key part with any
Right.
certainty. Okay. I
Yeah.
can go out there. So the way I make it real simple is I have the inability to drink without pain on the back end, without
With that.
pain,
Uh-huh.
emotional pain on the back end. I can't. I make really bad decisions when I'm drunk.
Hmm.
And I drink to get I get drunk when I drink. I drink a
Yeah.
lot. I have a high volume. So that's my the inability with any certainty to control the amount.
So what made you
Most people,
decide to get sober?
yeah,
Just the bad decisions
pain.
built up? Yeah.
Yeah, they built up. 14 treatment centers, 3 prison terms, 20 or 30 arrests, being homeless on the streets for 20 years. Yeah, I had a lot of pain
Right.
that gave me enough, but I had the same amount of pain till the last time I got arrested. There was just one more arrest. But at some point, I had to make a decision to absorb or be comfortable with the discomfort of getting clean and sober because
Yeah,
it's
right.
discomforting to the alcoholic and addict. And what does that mean? What it
Yeah.
means is there were emotional things that I had to deal with
Hmm.
that I could use the drugs and alcohol to not deal with.
Gotcha. Okay.
And at some point, I had to confront those and deal with those. And I did. And
So,
today
so
I'm well.
quite
Yeah.
academic at school by the sounds of it. Went to
Yeah.
college,
Mm-hmm.
did what every college kid does generally. Had a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fun, no doubt. When
Right.
did you enter corporate? You said you went to corporate. Was
Well, yeah,
that
you graduate. I had to
so
get
you
a job.
graduate? Yeah, and you
So I
got a
went
job.
into the corporate world.
Yeah.
Because you guys know, I'm an Ivy League graduate. I 6'1". I look good. I talk good. I smell good. I dress well.
Yeah.
I'm articulate. I'm intelligent. And so I went into sales, corporate sales, and I was making $50,000 a year in 1985, which probably would be like 150 now.
Yeah.
And that's as 1 year out of college.
Good money.
So I did very, very well.
What sort of
But
sales
I
were you doing?
started drinking. Huh?
What sort of sales were you doing?
What
What were
was
you
I doing?
selling?
I was selling at that time what was called micrographics. So there used to be a thing called microfilm, and microfilm, they put something on a piece of plastic that's miniaturized, and then you put it into microfilm readers, and now you can blow it up. So we took large amounts of information before we had computers, and we'd put it on microfilm. And
Right.
you'd put old newspapers on there, you'd put documents on there, and they would be on microfilm. And then you would go to a
Hmm.
library or the state, had microfilm, all your platting, all your land documents are large documents that they would then film it. It's a film, and you put it micro film.
Right. There you
So
go.
anyway, there's special machines. And so
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
sold those for Kodak and the 3M Corporation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Sorry to digress.
Yeah,
So
no
went
problem.
into corporate.
Mhm.
But how long did that last? Like it sounds like you went down that spiral of addiction,
Very
homelessness.
quickly. Yeah,
Yeah.
2, 3 years.
Right. So quite
I was
young.
in corporate. I went quick. So I got out in 84, got out of college, and I was, we'll say, homeless by 88. by 88. I did corporate. I relapsed in 86 because I was sober. I went to my
Yeah.
first treatment, got sober, and then I relapsed at age like 23, and I was to spend the next 20 years homeless or
Yeah.
in prison or incarceration or in treatment. Yep.
Wow. So how does it go? I mean, obviously, your upbringing, your ch early childhood,
Mhm.
emotional baggage carried there that was maybe within but not realized or seen that caused you to drink, do you think? I mean, you've obviously reflected on it and
No,
no?
no, that didn't cause me to drink. I drank
Hmm.
because that's what we do as freshmen in college.
Right.
It was for me a social lubricant.
Hmm.
It allowed me to bond with other men. So I was a part of a gang. The gang was called Bonesgate Fraternity. It's just a gang. We can, but it's a college gang. So it's a
What
fraternity.
does a college gang get up to?
What does it get up to?
Yeah. What does a college gang do?
A college gang, we associate with each other and drink and chase girls.
Yeah, right.
That's what we did and do drugs.
Yeah, yeah,
But I call it a gang. I mean, but you think of it. It's a group of men
yeah,
with an affinity. We don't set well. We some of us sold drugs. We're not drug dealers. We're not the Crips or the Bloods, here or the Aryan Brotherhood. But we are literally. It's the same. Really, almost the same theory. We are a gang.
yeah,
We're associated. We fight for each other. We associate, we bond, we socialize with each other. We have things that we're attempting to get, as a group. We'd have parties so the girls would come to the parties and hopefully we'd be able to sleep with them. That's
yeah.
what we did. That's a fraternity. At least that's what
Okay.
my fraternity. Not all fraternities are like that. I was in a very heavy drinking and drug fraternity.
Yeah,
I
right.
chose at an Ivy League school. Okay, and there were other ones: Beta Theta Pi, Phi Delta, Bonesgate, Herod. Those are four of the hardcore drinking fraternities at Dartmouth. A few of them don't exist anymore.
Right. Yeah, wow. Interesting. So corporate world, got back into the booze. How did you become homelessness? Like, what was the journey there?
Well, it's so what the journey is there. It's interesting you bring that up. So here I am, an individual that had everything. Just a year before, 2 years before, I
Yeah.
relapsed. I have problems. I go to my first inpatient treatment. So there's two different types of treatment centers. Quote, there's outpatient, inpatient. One, you just drive there, go to your meetings. The other one is you live at a facility, usually in America, at least 21 or 28 days or longer. Many of them are 90. I've done year-long, 2-year-long treatment centers. And
Are
you
these like
try
AA treatment centers or?
they usually will introduce you to the anonymous programs, but
Yeah.
they work on some emotional group therapy, family therapy,
Right.
all the different areas. And so I go there and then I moved to Seattle because I'd lived in Anchorage. I came down and I was living in Spokane, Washington, go to Seattle, Washington, and I started working at a place called Nordstrom's, which is the high-end clothing store. Did well there, but I started drinking again after being clean. And again, I drink to such excess. And then I was introduced to crack cocaine. This
Right.
was 1988.
Yeah.
And crack cocaine, the thing about crack is it'll go through your money very quickly and
Right.
you'll spend all your money.
But
Whereas
do you smoke
alcohol,
that or?
yes, yeah, smoke it.
Right.
And so I was broke, can't keep a roof over my head, can't go to work because I'm coming off the drug or have a hangover. And so I'm unemployed, lose the place I live, and the next thing to go to is the missions. And I was to spend off and on well, I tell people this from 87, 88 to 2007, I spent 20 years on mats because in prison you have a mat. A mat's it's usually like 3 inches thick.
Yeah,
And if you
yeah.
go to a mission, you sleep on a mat. So I
Mm.
spent 20 years on mats.
Well, Matt's.
It just in
So you
allowing,
went, well, you started living in the
yeah.
streets, obviously,
Mhm.
with your addiction, no
Mhm.
money, no job, you're living on the
Right.
streets. What took you to prison?
Or criminal behavior.
Yeah.
No, I'm not being a little facetious. So you start off, at least I start off with, misdemeanors. I had a theft charge, da 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 da. And you gotta understand,
And is that
I've
just
been
trying
to
to get
prison,
money to cover your
of
addiction?
course.
That's what it's about,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, one. Yeah, but so there's a few things. There's three things. One, you're attempting to get funds to feed your addiction.
Yeah.
Number two, your brain is you're insane. That's what a drug does to you. Every single drug has the same thing in common. And whether it's alcohol, crack, heroin, aspirin, Tylenol, they all have the same thing in common. And what that is they change your perception of reality.
Hmm.
If you have pain in your left knee and take 2 aspirin, you're changing your perception of the reality of the pain.
Yeah.
That's what it's a drug. And so crack does that, heroin does it, methamphetamine, alcohol. They
Hmm.
change your perception of reality. And
Interesting.
because my reality is changed, I will engage in acts and behavior that I would not do sober. I've tried to kill people on 3 occasions. Tried to kill people on 3 occasions. I wouldn't want I wouldn't want to kill a fly these days. I'm
Yeah.
a kind and gentle man. I've been that
Hmm.
way for 21 years.
Yeah.
Okay. But under the influence of alcohol or drugs, that seemed like the correct thing to do. The correct thing to do was to go to a convenience store with a starter pistol. I don't know if you know what a starter pistol is. It shoots caps and they use it
Right.
to start the race.
Right, right, right. Yeah, I'm with
A
you.
buddy
Yeah.
of mine had one. Well, I went and did an armed robbery with a starter pistol. Now, if they pulled out a gun, I can't shoot them, nor should I, because they're innocent. They work there. But you see the insanity of that? Not
Mm-hmm.
only was that, I was so insane, I told them to give me all their change. I didn't tell them to give them the bills, which is what I really needed. I ended up with like, I don't know, $13 worth of nickels, dimes, and quarters because I'm drunk.
Hmm.
And that was the best thinking that I could do at the time.
Hmm.
So again, what we have is we have criminal behavior, which is, remember, crimes so much are to protect society because the individuals that I affect are innocent.
Yeah.
They're innocent.
Hmm.
I've burglarized, I've mugged, I've done kidnapping, I've done armed robbery. And this is with an Ivy League. And this is the guy you see right now talking to you. It's in the
Yeah.
book,
Yeah.
most of it. Okay.
Interesting.
But the thing is that I'm doing it there. And then there's a thing called displacement. And what displacement is that I will displace my emotions not to the precursor or antecedent, not, not of the person that caused me. You're getting the brunt of my dad beating me when I was 14 years ago. I'm displacing that anger and fear that I had. My father shot my mom 6 times and then came to shoot me at my job. That's my father. Okay.
This is
And
Sam.
I had, yes, Sam. Yeah. And I had
Right.
a lot of emotions around that I didn't deal with.
Hmm.
And the key one is I didn't deal with forgiveness. I didn't deal with that. And so I would take, and then I had a lot of shame. I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of fear that's bubbling in me.
Yeah.
And so
Naturally.
you're
Yeah.
getting it,
You're passing
okay?
on that to others. Yeah.
To others, yeah. I'm displacing it
Don't
to
deserve
another
it. Yeah.
entity.
Yeah.
So I'm committing a crime. So let's say that's some of the crimes of violence that I had.
It's
And then I
interesting. I
have
mean, I've
one,
heard this. I've heard this
yeah.
before with
Mhm,
people that have gone through similar experiences to you.
mhm,
That I mean, your father beating you and then shooting your mother,
mhm,
at a
mhm.
young age, and you're quite academic. And I've heard this before where to avoid the pain that that's causing you, you just focus on something else so immensely, like you probably did, and became quite academic um, in your pursuit of knowledge, and you found something else to grab onto that gave you a joy.
That's not why I'm academic. That's not why I'm an intellectual.
Yeah,
That's not why I'm smart.
yeah,
I was born that way.
yeah,
100%. I was
yeah.
born that way. I could not read at age 6. I could
Hmm.
not read.
Hmm.
And my mother taught me how to read with phonetics card, index cards, little index cards,
Yeah,
white
yeah,
ones with
yeah,
the lines on it. Well, she put a big TH on there, the. They call phonetics, and
yeah.
taught me how to read. The next year, I was in second grade and I'm reading at the sixth grade level. The
Hmm.
next year, I'm
Hmm.
reading for that's nature. Okay. Now
So
there was
how
some
how did
nurture.
you deal with it when you were growing up with all that violence and
I took it out on other students.
did you?
Yeah, I took it out on other students and I tried. So what you do is this is how you deal with it. You create defense mechanisms to protect you. Because as a 7-year-old, I don't understand. I don't understand why he's so angry at me. Why does this man hate me? Why is this man? And I know why now. But that I can't articulate the reasoning. All
Hmm.
I know is that this man wants to hurt me badly. And so I'm living in a tremendous amount of fear.
Yeah.
So what you do is you're walking on tippy toes. And what I learned, there's some defense mechanisms to protect me that are not good as an adult or even as a teenager. So I learned how to lie. I learned how to lie early
Yeah.
because when I came home and my father said, "Did you do this chore?" And I know I'm going to get beat if I tell him I didn't do the chore. Yeah, I did it and I didn't get beat. I learned how to buy friends at an early age because I thought I was rejected as a child. So I stole money from my mom at age 10 out of her purse so I could buy candy so the kids would like me. It
Yeah.
wasn't for me. Candy wasn't for me. It was for kids so they like me. I struggled with that for the next 50 years, saying no to people
Hmm.
because I didn't want rejection or
Right.
abandonment.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
anyway, we acquired. There's other ones. I had another one. My mother's shot. I go to the hospital. She's lying on a gurney before it's called pre-op with the sheet up to her neck with the blood coming through the sheet from the bullet wounds. She's alive and she's worried about me because he said, I'm going to kill that SOB Ken as he's shooting her. He's telling her he's going to kill me. Okay. And she loved me. I'm an only child. She adopted me, loved me to death. Anyway, I come up there. I have no emotion. None. I got a call from my mom's secretary saying that she's been shot and she's at Providence Hospital. I said, okay. I went to my boss. Hey, do you mind if I take a little time off and visit my mom? She's been shot by my dad. Do you mind? He freaks out. I
Yeah.
have no emotion. So anyway, I go there, I grab her purse and I grab her shoes. I go back to work like nothing happened. Like nothing happened.
That's a
That's how I dealt with it.
protection mechanism. No
Yeah,
emotion.
yeah, yeah. To have no emotion because also my father told me not to cry when he beat me. I
Hmm.
wasn't allowed to cry.
Yeah.
So I bottled all that pain, all that angst.
Hmm.
And either I took it out and there's other things I did. I would just like sort of what I to this day, and it's some defense mechanisms are good. One of my favorite words in life is order. I love order because living with an alcoholic is all about disorder. So my environment that I control at age 63 is completely ordered. I have one pen at my desk. I have one pad at my desk. That's it. I have order in the physical because there's a lot of disorder potentially in the head. So I've
Right.
been like that. And also, if my
Interesting.
room was dirty
Yeah.
as a kid, I got beat. So
Right.
my room was perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. What a
Yeah.
terrible thing to have to worry about that. So anyway, that's some of the things that I did. That's how I started creating or doing crimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Your perception of reality, you talked about that on drugs,
Yeah.
changing. I mean, I guess it's a survival thing, right? It must link somehow to your perception on what you need to survive. Do you relate to that or?
Yes and no. So you can never take away the power of an addiction. Because sometimes once you get into the addiction, you are addicted to the drug and you physiologically need the drug.
Hmm.
Okay. Your body's screaming for it.
Yeah.
I'd wake up wanting crack every day. When I went to prison, I literally dreamed and fantasized about crack cocaine for 2 years.
Hmm. Yeah.
2 years. I also had diarrhea for 2 years when I went to prison.
Hmm.
That's the truth of addiction
Yeah.
because my internal system, you cannot live on natural ice beer and Doritos for years thinking that's not going to mess up your GI, tract. But the only reason I'm saying this is that, yeah, there were things that happened. Yeah, I had a lot of internal turmoil, but literally, a big part of it is that I had a drug habit. A lot of people say, "Well, how do you stay sober so long?" Because I have 21 years plus now,
Hmm.
and I said I have a habit of being sober. If you offer me a drink, I say no. One time I was in a casino and I ordered a Diet Coke. And it came to me and it was in a smaller glass than I'm used to. I'm like, damn. And I tasted it and it was rum and Coke. And I called her over. I said, hey, yo, check this out. I don't drink. I don't do alcohol. And she goes, oh my goodness, it is wrong because she could tell because it was a smaller glass. But
Right.
oh, it looks like it's Coca-Cola. But you see, but I'm in a habit of not using a mind-altering chemical.
Yeah.
Plus, rationally, I understand using and what the repercussion. Let me put it this way: there is no single excuse in this world that will justify me picking up a mind-altering chemical. None.
Hmm.
I have lost two mothers and a wife since I've gotten sober. Dead. They have died.
Since you've
Two
gotten sober.
mothers. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and a wife. Okay, and dealt with they're dying.
Yeah.
So I can walk through anything, bro. I can walk through anything. And I have a
Well,
God too.
you've,
So
you've,
they
you've had a
have
journey.
faith.
I mean, living on the
Huh?
streets, being homeless.
Yeah.
How do you like? I don't see it too often where I live, fortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been
Mm-hmm.
to your area. I've been over to
Mm-hmm.
America, and I've seen it there. And um, really, it's quite emotional for me to see. How do you how do you do that day to day? How do you live with that? Like, I mean, is your mind at all perceptive to the reality there, or is it just in a totally different
Well, I
reality?
know. No, no, no. First of all, you associate with others if you so choose. So I can say there's a lot of different ways. I know the homeless world very well. Let's
Right.
just put it that way, very well. And there's levels to homelessness. There are SROs, single room occupancy, and you'll see a lot of alcoholics, drug addicts, and mentally ill individuals that get a check once a month, and they have what are called a protective payee. So that person makes sure they have a room over their head. They can get food stamps or go down to the soup kitchen, eat, and then they can just drink and drug to their, whatever extent they want to. But they're fine. I mean, they're taken care of. They can remain in that chronic alcoholism or pretty much low level drug addiction because they can't afford a lot of drugs.
Right.
Then there are the individuals that are in and out of missions. I was one of those. Then there is a level that we predominantly live in motels. We do motels. And the reason we do motels is that they're cheap. Number two, we can put our money together. That way we can spend more money on drugs.
Right.
So it'll be two, three, or four of us together, and we'll get rooms, two queen beds or whatever. And we have a place. The other thing, when you smoke crack, you don't go to sleep. So we're not needing really the beds. We just need a place that society can't see us, and we can do some of our criminal behavior in the rooms. Right. So a lot of time is spent in food banks, in soup kitchens, in missions, and in motels. Okay, those are the main
What's a mission?
areas. You revolve around those.
Yeah.
A mission?
Yeah.
Oh, mission is usually run by a Christian organization that provides shelter to street people.
Okay.
They usually food and shelter. So there's night shelter, there's day shelter, and there's food. Those are the three things that we need. And then they'll usually have a washer dryer there. They usually have a clothing room. I've been in missions in 4 or 5 different states. I know this world really well. Yeah. And they're nonprofits, and they're usually, at least in the United States, they're Christian based. Many of them. Some of them are just nonprofits. But anyway, you go in there, you sign in, and so many places you need day shelter because you have to get out of the rain or the heat, whatever it may be. So you go there and hang out during the day. And then in the evening, if you can, you'll go out and hustle, do what you can to be able to get your drug of choice, and get a room. Or if you can't get a room, usually you have to be back by like 5 or 6 o'clock to check in, get a meal, and then get a mat to sleep on because they just put out 100, 200
like in a big
mats.
hall or whatever.
Yep. And then they always separate the men from the women. You got to do that. And usually it's a whole different building the women are in, because there's too much goes on if you don't. Yeah. And then in the morning, they wake you up usually at 7 o'clock in the morning. Now you can go there and, go there each day, go to work and try to get enough money to get that first, weekly motel, to try to extricate yourself off the street. But it's hard. It's really hard. Yeah. And, and it's just around and around. And so what most people have, you can make money legally, you can make money illegally. And I've done both. So we go, it's called catch out, or temporary labor. And, you go work for $3 an hour, $4, whatever it is now. I used to work and I'd make $21 or $22, and I would spend 15 on crack, 5 or 6 on alcohol, and maybe $1 to catch the bus to get back downtown. I did that for a long, that's legal, but mostly I did illegal. Yeah.
And so prison life then was, were you in and out of prison, or did you just get put in
3
prison?
times.
3 times, right? Okay.
I've spent years in prison, yeah.
Is that where you got clean? Is that where you got sober? In prison?
Yeah, last time I did, yep.
Yep. What was the catalyst there? What made you, what changed your mind to say, I'm done with this? Like, obviously the pain was...
3 things. Number one, I was ready because I was at a point on September 22nd, 2004, where I was suicidal. Okay. You got to understand where I was. It's 2004. I had been a hustler. So what I had done, my main thing is I would run between people looking for drugs or sex and find those things for them, bring it back to the person buying it, and then I would get a portion from either the working girls or the drug dealer would pay me for bringing them the business. Yeah. And so I'm still in sales, but it's called a runner, but it's really a hustler. And then my other main thing is I was a male prostitute. So I would go out and turn tricks, make money, give me a room, buy my dope and stuff. Anyway, I'd had an individual that we call a sugar daddy. I'd lost him. This is an individual that will take care of you, but you like live with them. You still provide services, but at least you have a room and board over your head for a length of time. And I'd been with him for like a month, but then he moved. And I was in a really bad position. My jaw was broken, had been broken twice, so it's wired shut. And I had blisters on all my hands from trying to light the pipe. I had blisters on all my toes from just walking in this loop of 4 blocks by 2 blocks, looking for people, looking for things. You looking? You all right? You anything up? This is what I would say. I'd walk by people.
Yeah.
Did that for years. So anyway, I woke up in a closet and went and hustled. I called my mom because I'm suicidal. She said, I'll send you to treatment again. Just be at the bus stop at 6 o'clock. I said, okay. And I went and hustled because I needed some money for drugs. I mean, not drugs. I needed some money for food for the bus ride from Reno
Yeah.
to Seattle.
Uh-huh.
It's a 3-day. Anyway, I sold to the undercover cop. And I'm hemmed up, waiting for the paddy wagon, and I'm crying profusely. And the cop comes to me and said, why are you crying? And I said, I'm crying because I'm going to live. I can do prison. I can't do me on the streets with my addiction, but I can do prison. And so I'm crying in gratitude because I'm
Yeah.
going to live.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. So I go to jail. A month later, I have a conversation with God. God says, I will be there. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be without discomfort, but I will be there. And I'll be there and walk with you. You know, this too shall pass. And I believe that. Oh, and then a month and a half later, I get sentenced for my sales of a $10 rock of crack cocaine to 6 years in the penitentiary. But when he is sentencing me, the judge says very simply, you come in my courtroom again, which I always went into his courtroom in Reno. He said, I'm giving you the habitual criminal statute. And that's 25 to life. My next felony in the state of Nevada is 25 to life.
Wow.
And that's a long time, bro.
Yeah.
It's a long time to be in a penitentiary. So I go to the penitentiary, and this is the key.
What was the
about
longest stint in the penitentiary?
3.
3 years?
3. Yeah,
Yeah.
3. I
Right.
had a 3, a 2, and like a 1
Yeah.
because they gave me parole the first time because it was my first time. So I did about 6 total.
Yeah.
That's in the penitentiary. In jail, probably another year or 2 in jail.
Yeah.
The jail's under a year.
Mhm.
So this is the key part about recovery. I went into prison and I said to myself, if I am the same person coming out of prison, because I will get out, as I am when I go in, I will have the same results. Okay?
Mm.
And this is my grandchild. Um, and so I said, I got to change in 4 areas. I need to change physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. I've got to be a different person. Because the first 2 times I went in, I just want to be a better drug dealer when I got out,
Yeah.
which I never was. So I worked on the physical, ended
Because
up.
there was a couple of things there that made you just go, okay, well, this is it. This is my chance to
Oh,
either
yeah.
change
Well, first
or.
of all, yeah. I mean, literally, fear of 25 to life. 2, I had the faith of God that I can walk through anything. 3, I had enough faith, love, and belief that I had some value that I was willing to do
Well, took.
the things I had to do in those
Yeah.
4 areas.
Intellectual, physical, emotional, spiritual.
And spiritual. Yep.
Right. They're your 4
And
areas
I
of
worked on
focus.
all of them. And I still worked on, I still had to work on some issues when I got out 3 years
Well,
later.
that'd still be relevant today, right? They're things that you focus on daily. No?
No, no, not at all. Not at
Hmm?
all. I tell people, I just did a podcast earlier. I've been well for about 4 years. I'm well, bro.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm cool. I'm cool. I don't spend my waking hours working on Ken. Don't need to. And you say, how can you say that? I can say that because I am very comfortable in my skin and I don't have people reflecting back that are external to me that I'm causing them discomfort or friction. So, because I'm not spending all my time working on me, I can give out. I can help others. I mentor men all over this country. I have a book club that's national. Everything is free. I speak for free on stages all over this country. I can give out. I have employees. I have contractors. I give again, I go out because it's not all about me. I'm not so self-centered that I got to fix Ken. I am good. And this is another thing. I talk about this. I think one of the worst things we've done, or it's been a difficulty. There was a whole series of books called Good to Great by Collins. They're good books. I got you. But it set this thing that you got to be great. I'm good with good. I'm good with good.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the capacity to be great. And I'm 63 and I don't choose to be great. You may define me as great, but I'm good with Ken. I'm good. So that's a term I use. I'm well. It's all right to be well, folks.
So you're about 40 when you got out of prison, roughly?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And straight back into a career, or what? I mean, the progress to no?
I wish. No. I hadn't worked like legitimately in a long time, bro. It was 2007 and the economy was terrible.
Yeah.
It was the great, recession. And so the only thing I could get was a part-time job in a warehouse. And I did that for a while. And that was cool, but I was willing to do that because I can go out there and sell drugs. I can go out there and sell myself. I can go out there and rob somebody and make some money, but I was going to do it legit.
You left that behind.
I did it legitimately and legally. And then I had an opportunity to go back to Anchorage, got a great job or a good white collar job in Anchorage. And then I went into fundraising, which is my field of expertise.
Yeah.
And fell in love with it. I was fundraising for a soup kitchen. I used to walk through the front door as a recipient. I walked through and have keys to the building through the back door to go to my office. What a difference. And I love what we did because I know what it's like. Most humans don't know what it's like to really be hungry.
Yeah.
To really be. That is easily one of the worst feelings in the world is to really be hungry. You will do a lot of things when you're really hungry. This is the craziest thing. You'll love this one. And how do you pronounce your first name? My apologies.
Lee.
Okay, I didn't want to make sure it wasn't like Lay. It's Lee.
No.
Lee, I would do a robbery with violence, armed robbery, but I wouldn't shoplift. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. I'm starving and I'd rather mug you on the street than go into the grocery store and take something off the shelf. But again, I was insane. I was insane. It's crazy.
Fascinating story. Wow. 20 years sober. So going into, one of your parts of your story there that I think is important, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure you will. But it sounds like you sort of started to focus on giving, contributing, and that was potentially a big part of your healing, rather than focusing on Ken. Yeah.
So what I did is I started talking about the power of secrets from the stage. I started talking about, our secrets. And I started talking about shame. And when I revealed certain things, so when I was 19, I was raped by another man. I was physically raped by another man. Okay. So I know the feeling, and to be able to, first of all, take away the shame of that. And then to be able to talk about that from the stage, it empowered other people to say, maybe I don't have to keep this secret. You don't tell me, share it with someone, take away that power, that negative secret, because that negative secret is then giving you self-talk that says that I'm less than. I do not have value. And so I believe, and we can talk about it in this way, but I believe I have a gift to be able to articulate situations, people, places, and things, but more importantly, have the ability to articulate feelings and reasoning behind the action or the thing that happened, the experience.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have stories like mine, but they can't tell you why they did it, how they were feeling, what their self-talk was, how they felt later, how they dealt with it. Because I've dealt with all my secrets. I'm here talking to you about things that 20 years ago, I would not say to anyone, because I did not want you to know that I was turning tricks on the street. I didn't want you to know I was raped.
Yeah.
I didn't want you to know that somebody beat me so bad that I was in the hospital for days, because that makes me feel less than.
Is there a
Okay,
level of forgiveness there? Did you have to go
yeah,
through a level of forgiving yourself? Because
yeah. I think so. Remember, there's two entities,
yeah,
really three, if we want to talk at that level. You have to forgive others, which are external to self. You have to forgive self. And for some, you have to forgive God, even though you really shouldn't have to forgive God. But you at least have to create a relationship where you don't blame God. That's important. At least that's important to me. And that's what I believe.
okay. So
Right?
some have to
So
forgive God because they have that level of blame that he
they have
didn't
that
look
much
out for
hate.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have that much
Uh-huh.
hate or anger at God.
Mm.
That is one of the worst places you can be, is self-pitying. Because what you've done is you've taken away agency. What you've
Mm.
done is you've taken away your responsibility.
Yeah.
What you've
Mm.
taken away is any ability to believe that in the future it can be better. Because why should I even try to get better? Because God already has a plan that I'm just going to be in pain.
Mm.
That's when you have that lack of hope. That's when suicide becomes a viable alternative. Because remember, I didn't want to die. I just wanted the pain to end. And I couldn't think of another way for the emotional pain to end unless
Yeah.
I died.
Yeah.
So I tried to kill
Yeah.
myself on 3 occasions.
Yeah. Shit.
Okay.
Did you, when you came out of prison, did you have to change your environment to, sort
Of
of
course.
remove yourself from the
Yeah, of course.
temptations? Yeah.
No, the temptation had left me, but I had to remove myself from people that were not going to be a value added to the journey that I was taking.
Right.
I
So
can't hang
surrounding
out in
yourself by
jail.
the right people. Yeah.
Right, right.
Uh-huh.
I remember one time I get out of prison, I'm out, let's say 4 or 5 months, I'm driving. I see a guy I knew from the streets. Now I'm clean and sober. I'm not going to use or anything like that. And he gets in and he said, "Hey, I just need to go down to the Holiday Inn." Da, da. I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "How you been doing? I haven't seen you for a while." I said, "Yeah, I got, I was down for 3 years, out. I'm clean and sober." He's like, "Oh, that's great." He said, "Well, I'm just going down here. I got to sell these rocks." And he had crack cocaine on him. I'm like, I pulled over so fast because I'm going back to the penitentiary if they arrest him. He's got dope on him in my car.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm like, I was angry because I'm in fear. And so, you have to control that environment. And then another key one is, at least for men, we have to control who we sleep with. I'm just being real frank, okay? And so people get out and they end up associating with women that are not, again, going to be good for them long term. Let me put
Yeah.
it that way. I've just seen too many. I've been in too many halfway houses, three-quarter way houses, recovery homes, and see guys relapse because they're sleeping with someone who's in active addiction. You're doomed. 100%. This has been my experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
100%. You are
Mm-hmm.
doomed. Okay. So anyway, I I looked out for all of that. I did change my environment. I still struggled. I still struggled, Lee. And I struggled with words, just simple words.
Mm.
And that was something I didn't expect. And I had to look at that for a while. So let me tell you what that means. Another thing I talk about is the power of words. In my community, which is the African American male community, you can't call me a bitch, you can't call me a punk, and you can't call me a nigger because I have a script I have to play out. It's a script
Yeah.
that's built into me from the streets and the penitentiary. And I go up to Anchorage after 2, 3 years out of the penitentiary, and I'm going up the escalator with my nephew, who I love, hadn't seen in 10 years, but he's like 17, 18.
Hmm.
And he says to me, "Hey, Unc, were you somebody's little bitch in the penitentiary?" And anyone else, it was automatic that I'm going to do physical violence.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem. You need to do anything? I'm not.
No, no, you're right.
Okay. And I got to the landing, and it's my stepbrother's son. And I called my brother. It really is my half brother, or my adoptive.
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey, Mike." Mike Jr. said XYZ. He said, "Put him on the phone," because he knows. He knows what the code words are.
Hmm.
Because what the code words represent is less than. You are weak,
Yeah.
and you are less than. So, for a white person, if a brother calls me, "Hey, yo, what's up, my nigga?" We say that all the time. You got all the rap music, whatever.
Yeah.
But if another race calls me that, so I put my nephew on there. He talked to his dad for about 30 seconds and came back and profusely because he didn't know. But I'm like, why does this word bother me so much? And I'm like, what other words bother me? Because that's the only word I knew at that time. And then I realized there was two other words. And I said, I've got to take away the power. I can't go back to the penitentiary because somebody calls me a punk. They don't know that those are code words.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
from that world. Or
Yeah.
they are from that world, and I'm still going to give them. I always say this: you can call me anything you want. Just don't threaten my family. That's it. Don't
Hmm.
threaten my family.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
And so I took away the power of words. But that was another thing.
Yeah.
Remember I
And
said
that's important. That's huge. Um,
most cultures have it. Yeah.
I want to talk just briefly to wrap this
Do
up
it.
before we go.
No problem.
You talked about being comfortable with being good, and I think this is a really
Mhm.
important point that you make.
Mhm.
Because in this day and age, we're all chasing, we're all seeing, surrounded by all these influences on social media,
Yeah. Mhm.
and we're striving to be this great and put so much pressure on ourselves that takes it away from actually being great just as who we are.
Mhm.
Talk to me about that. Like, what's your view on that, and how can we be comfortable with enough?
So part of this comes back to self-forgiveness. So how do you forgive self when you've done all these bad things,
Yeah,
what we define as bad? And some of them were very bad.
yeah,
I look at myself as a fallible child of God that was imperfect. And I was in pain. And I'm not making justification of rationalization because what I did was wrong.
yeah,
And every person that I could, I made amends to. So having done that, when I come to a point where I'm in my journey now, or people who are listening, you're in your journey now. When is enough enough? And the question you first have to ask yourself, where is your self-esteem? So I teach a class on self-esteem. And one of the things we have to define is your self-esteem internal or external? We have a thing called pseudo, which means false, self-esteem. And what that means is you get your sense of value from how others picture you or co-sign on behavior or actions. Okay. You need compliments. You need attaboys. You say, man, you the man, because you're sleeping with 4 different women. Oh, you the boy, because you did the drive-by. Okay. That's pseudo. That's false self-esteem because you're getting your sense of value from affirmations external to you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So when you have true self-esteem, then you have the ability to find this is what makes me comfortable and creates my value. And I don't need external, therefore, I don't need
It's huge.
external
Yeah.
manifestations of my value by how big a house I own,
Yeah.
how many cars I own, how pretty my wife is, or how many girlfriends I have. That's not how I get my validation.
Yeah. 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 Important.
Okay.
Huge. Mm.
Inside. It's an
Yeah.
inside act.
Yeah.
So it took me years, but that's why I'm so cool where I am now. I'm 63. I'm cool. I do financially fine. I'm not super rich. I'm a millionaire, but I'm not super rich. I'm cool with it. You see what I'm saying? And I have a beautiful family. That's where I get where I get my value from? Being nice to others,
Yeah.
playing with my grandchild. I didn't get mad when my grandkid came in this room. He's 4 years old. I mean, he's 2.5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
wants to hang out with G-Pa.
Yeah. Beautiful, mate. Amazing story.
Thank you, Lee.
Incredible. Really nice to connect. I'm just so happy you've shared so openly and deeply. And I think for me personally, just sitting here having this conversation, it just makes me realize, how fortunate I am and how much I should be grateful for what I have. And I think that's sometimes overlooked in this day and age. But mate, well done to you and congratulations. I'm glad you made that choice to go sober because it'd be a loss without you.
Yeah, I'm glad I made the decision also to get well
To get
after
well.
I got sober.
Hmm.
Sober just set the foundation, set the
Yeah.
table. Then there was things that I needed to work on because I still would have displaced, behavior that would not have been, good for others and
Hmm.
society, even if I was sober, because I've already been there and I noticed that. But what I also want to do is I want to thank you, Lee. Great questions. You have a wonderful podcast here. I want to thank the listeners for allowing me to share. I hope that something has resonated with you. If you ever want to get a hold of me, LinkedIn, I'm Ken Miller 84. That's my handle, Ken Miller 84, or go to kenmillerspeaks.com. You can send me a direct message through my website. So
Amazing.
again, very, very appreciative.
Thank you, Ken. Guys, check it out. Book link will be in the episode notes at thehiddenwhy.com as well as kenmillerspeaks.com. And you can connect with Ken on LinkedIn there. Mate, thank you so much for coming on. Everyone
Thank you,
listening,
mate.
thank you for joining us. And until next time, peace, passion, and purpose. See you soon. There you have it, my interview with Ken Miller. What an incredible story and so vulnerable that Ken opened up and shared so much. It was just gold. I really loved it. Hope you did as well. I got a lot of insights out of it, a lot of points to take away and reflect on as well, regardless of your journey, whether it's similar to Ken's or not. I think there's some paramount insights in here that you can take away and reflect on and use to make your life greater. So Ken Miller, guys, all the show notes put together at thehiddenwhy.com, episode 1142. A link to Ken's book is there as well, so check that out. And you can reach out to Ken directly through his website or LinkedIn profile as well. Guys, if you want to connect with me, I'd love to help you on your journey, here to help you live more fully, have more meaning and find more joy. So reach out to me directly through Facebook, Instagram, or you can go to the website as well and connect there. Have a great week ahead, guys. Until the next episode, peace, passion, and purpose. See you soon.